As if it wasn't bad enough that the KL Rahul led Lucknow Super Giants ended up getting an absolute thrashing at the hands of the Sunrisers Hyderabad, what happened after the match has just made everything worse. Yes, I am talking about the fact that Sanjiv Goenka, the owner of the Lucknow Super Giants franchise, was seen having a very public, animated conversation with KL Rahul, in which you could tell that he wasn't really happy about what it is that was going on. But there were a lot of questions raised as to whether or not this was the right approach to be taking with things, given that TV cameras picked up on it in an instant, and it has now become one of the most talked about stories, whether it's on social media, whether among the general populace, otherwise. It's definitely something that has snowballed out of control. And let's just say that reactions more often than not are overwhelmingly trending towards the fact that whilst you can understand why it is that Goenka did what he did, perhaps there was a better way of dealing with things. In fact, that's exactly what a lot of experts said. In fact, during the broadcast on the digital broadcasters, which actually showcased this particular exchange, you could hear the experts for that particular platform talk over it and say, listen, this is not good. In fact, one of the people who spoke up was Graham Smith, the former South Africa captain, and he could be heard very clearly saying at the time that, look, this is an owner that is very passionate about his team. But these conversations should happen behind closed doors. There are so many cameras around the stadium and they miss nothing. In fact, Smith would go on to add that now the onus will be on KL Rahul every time he goes to a press conference or any kind of an interaction to answer awkward questions about this particular exchange. In fact, adding on to this, Scott Styris, the former New Zealand international, said that he, that is KL Rahul, has done very well in this situation to keep his cool. I think that you are right. You were saying that to Graham Smith, saying that, listen, perhaps this should not have been publicly been done. You could have had the talk, but it could have been behind closed doors. In fact, one person who took a slightly, let's say, more middleman view on this was Mike Hesson, the former, RCB director of cricket coach, former New Zealand coach. He understood where it came from, but he too said that maybe this was a little bit too far. He said that, look, if you compare LSG with how the Sunrisers played, there's no doubt about the fact that there was a distinct gap. The owner is voicing his displeasure, but he's on his head, isn't he? He's on his head in the sense that, listen, he's going on and on about it for a while, and it just doesn't seem like it was a friendly, or at least, very least, a courteous exchange from the head, from the owner in this case. And more often than not, fans actually found themselves feeling so, given that a couple of hours prior, most people were actually giving him plenty of stick for slowing down the scoring rate in that particular match, because again, he was actually responsible for the scoring rate being low. But a couple of hours later, the narrative is flipped and KL Rahul is suddenly faced with a lot of understandable sympathy. Let's look at some of the reactions. We have this one user saying that after this public spat under the cameras, I'm sure that KL Rahul is leaving LSG next year. Fine, big money is riding on the IPL, and I understand the frustration as an owner, but it speaks volumes about Sanjiv Goenka as a boss. Never do your dirty laundry in public. Another user said that yes, KL Rahul is a terrible T20 player and a pretty ordinary captain too, but publicly reprimanding a player you have chosen to lead your franchise is absolutely classless, graceless and unwarranted. Shameful behavior from Sanjiv Goenka. Another fan said that the body language of Sanjiv Goenka was awful during his post-match conversation with KL Rahul. Disappointment after a loss, said that is obvious, but owners should never do this in the public view with cameras all around. KL didn't have a great day, but I feel for him here. Yet another user said that this was highly unprofessional and undignified behavior by the LSG owner Goenka towards captain KL Rahul. There are dignified ways to express criticism and unhappiness. Travis Head is in a completely different mode. No one can stop him at this point in time. Another user said that money can't teach you manners. Leaders compliment in public and criticize in private. Unprofessional and unacceptable behavior of Sanjiv Goenka when it comes to KL Rahul. And I think that pretty much sums things up when you're looking at how it is that this entire story played out. In fact, another person said that, listen, I give a big salute to KL Rahul for standing firm and listening calmly. Insane level of patience shown by KL Rahul. In fact, insane level of patience is a very good way to sum things up, because if you're looking at KL, he didn't really respond that much. He tried a couple of times to get a word or two in, but otherwise just focused on listening, kept his eyes down and ensured that his owner, the owner of his franchise that is, could get whatever he had to say out of his system before hopefully later then going on to give some sort of an explanation. I will say that Rahul's, let's say, reaction to all of this, a very, very classy one indeed. But he never should have had to be put in that position. Yes, there's plenty of debates to be had about Rahul's batting being out of sync when it comes to modern day T20 cricket, and that's a fair debate. You can say that perhaps he's not the most inspirational captain. It's also a fair one. But humiliating someone in public like this is not a good look. And given that this is the same Sanjiv Goenka who was involved in a rather public tussle with MS Dhoni when the two of them were together at the rising Pune Super Giants side, which remember came in for a 2-year period when CSK were banned, you will say that Goenka does have priors in this, and one hopes that this entire situation doesn't get as ugly as the Dhoni versus Goenka incident ended up becoming. But what are your thoughts on the matter? Do you agree with these experts and fans? Do you disagree? You can let us know your take in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports the Cap, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side, it's goodbye.